Hey, what's up guys? Today we'll be learning a new AI automation workflow that will be practical and useful that we can use right away after the video. And today's workflow is an Instagram viral reel analyzer automation workflow that allows us to analyze and replicate success from viral reels and get thousands or millions of views no matter which category you are. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So before we get started, firstly, I want to thank you for being part of the future today. So this is the first video after a long period of time, and it is a full tutorial video instead of a short form video. So thank you so much for staying and clicking onto this video. By clicking onto this video, I do know that you are definitely here to learn something about AI, and you are definitely in the top 1% of the learners in the AI space. And so this video is really for you on how we can make AI useful and applicable in our day-to-day lives today right away. So just to get started, for those of you who do not know who am I, my name is Cal from Make AI, and most of you probably know this channel from my popular anime workflow. And in this channel, we are here to explore and share practical use cases and workflows that we can build today right away to get ahead in this AI race. And this is a shift from my previous videos, which are pretty much not too long, but also educational. But I'm going more into long form tutorials today. And so why am I doing that, right? So being in the game for almost 12 months now, I realized that most viral AI news are great, but they are constant hype, right? Research papers, showcase, and conferences, they're not exactly what can be done today, but only tomorrow. It almost feels like AI is a coming soon thing all the time, but how do we use it now effectively? And so essentially, I want to be able to create actual useful AI automations and use cases that work today, that we can use today to improve our workflows and help make our lives better. Secondly, of course, is to make AI automations accessible to everyone, right? To make life easier and not harder in a simple manner. So whether you are a beginner or an expert, this video is for you to utilize AI today to make your life easier and create exceptional and wonderful workflows that helps to improve your productivity right away. So how can you leverage to use this video to help you out? So if you're watching this video, I believe you fall into one of these two categories. The first is the business owner or the creator. This workflow itself is aimed to help you leverage AI to save time and cut costs on production, to increase reach and ROI of your content workflow. But I also believe that most of you fall into the other category, which is an AI enthusiast or an agencies. And essentially what you can do is also to build these workflows for businesses and creators as an agency, or to build your own content business, or to use it as a template to create your own automations in your own specific fields to help you improve your productivity with AI. And so what's the workflow that we will be creating today? And today we will be creating the Instagram Reel Analyzer, which helps us recreate viral videos with massive views and get massive ROI. And so this workflow is something that I've learned from another YouTuber called Jack Roberts, and I find it extremely effective and useful. So do check out his videos as well, as he does have many amazing AI automation workflow examples and tutorials for us to learn as well. And so moving forward, really why this AI automation, just to dive deeper into this, right? Firstly, I truly believe that this workflow will be super effective and super important in today's age for any one of us learning to leverage AI for our productivity today. Content is king today, and everyone has to use content in any single business or organizations that we are in, right? And the global content market was valued at $413 billion in 2022 and is projected to reach $2 trillion by 2033. Imagine the large sum and the value. Content isn't going away anytime soon. And Mr. Beast, one of the biggest content creators, if not the biggest, also hires a full team of hundreds of people for each part of their content, right? Be it thumbnail, script writing, hooks, video editing, and so much more. And if you are able to automate just one single part of this content workflow, it could easily save creators and business hundreds of thousands of dollars right away. And that is super exciting, isn't it? And so how does this workflow works, right? So on the surface level, what we're first going to do with this workflow is to be able to scrape Instagram for the best reels from our competitors and consolidate the most important data into a table, right? Where we can create an analysis from the most important data, such as the views, the likes, and so much more. Now, this is just the first level, right? Once we are able to get the information scraped from Instagram, what we're going to do next is to then pass them through our GPT agents, right? Our AI agents from ChatGPT to recreate viral hooks and viral scripts for our business content. And this is based off the data that we have gotten from the viral content that our competitors have been able to create in our industry. And not only that, we will be able to create a virality score to help us decide which content to use as well. And once this is implemented, you'll never run out of great ideas to use for your content ever again. And you have an amazing competitive analysis to create viral content in your specific industry itself. So of course, I believe many of you would then ask the question, why not just use ChatGPT or one of those paid AI applications out there? Now, firstly, of course, ChatGPT is super amazing, but ChatGPT just being a single large language model can't necessarily be customized specifically to your direct needs in your specific industry, right? It may be generic and it may have hallucination, and it's hard to get exactly what we want in the specific format that we want. And so what we are doing today is to create a custom automations to build on top of ChatGPTs, to create multiple AI agents using ChatGPT as the brain to work together to create a more customized workflow like our own AI army system. And of course, how are we going to build this, right? Is it going to be super difficult? Is it going to be super challenging? Now, not to worry, because the tools that we will be using today are very easy for you to use, whether you're a beginner or an expert, right? We will be using a bunch of low-code tools, mainly starting with Make.com. What is Make? Make is essentially an automation workflow builder, just like Zapier, where we can link and create our own automation workflows, just like building Lego blocks. And within Make itself, we will be using three main applications, right? The first one is Apify, and Apify is sort of like an application that allows us to utilize different tools, such as the Instagram scraper that we will be using today. Right, moving forward, we will be learning how to use Cloud Convert in our Make automation workflow as well. And Cloud Convert is a tool simply to convert the format of the file, such as from audio to text or text to audio. And this will be super effective in helping us get the transcript from the audio file from our Reels. Last but not least, we will be using ChatGPT as the main brain of our automation workflow today. And of course, how we're going to do that is to use the OpenAI API. And what this does is that it helps us create customized AI agents using ChatGPT to help us create viral reels and viral scripts, or even viral analyses of our information. Now, while this sounds like a lot, don't worry, as we will be going through each of them individually so that we will understand what we are building today all the way from zero to scratch. Simply put, the goal of this workflow once again is to be able to make this accessible to everyone, just like what Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, said about AI, right? AI itself is supposed to help us make our life better. And the goal is, of course, to make things like programming easier for us to do. And so today, how we're going to do it is to leverage a bunch of low-code tools to be able to create a very powerful AI automation for our real analyzer. And so once again, before we get right into it, just know that this is a modular template. Just like Lego blocks, everyone's use cases is different, and this is just one example of what you can do with AI automations today right now. You can learn this workflow and then cater it to your own use cases, and there are limitless possibilities right here. So you can take what I share later on as a template and use it in your own specific manner, and that way it will be the most effective, catered to your industry or your specific use cases. You can even add other features as well if you feel like it is something useful to you. And so, without further ado, get your coffees ready and let's jump right into the building process. We're going to start off the first process by building on Make. So let's get off this slide. The first thing you got to do is to go to Make.com, and very quickly you just have to create an account. And once you create an account on Make.com, you will come into this page. Right, so the first thing you need to know in Make is what's called a scenario. Okay, over here, as you click on this button over here, you'll see that this is a page with many different scenarios right here. So what exactly is a scenario, right? A scenario itself is basically a workflow that you create for your automations to take place. Just like Lego blocks, as you can see over here, this is a workflow that I created for the Instagram Reel Analyzer, and we'll go through each of them individually later. But essentially what we are doing here is to create a workflow whereby, let's say we want to scrape a specific reel from one of our competitors. It will run through a series of actions, which is called modules in Make, and it will go all the way through our Apify apps, our Cloud Convert tools, through our GPT agents, and finally return the result in an Airtable format. At the end of it, we'll get a simple table like this, where it scrapes all the information such as the date, the URL, the transcript, the summary of the reel, views, likes, comments, and of course, to generate new content such as viral scripts, viral hooks, giving it a score, and even a sentimental analysis from the comments itself. Airtable is a fantastic tool just like Excel, but very modular, very Lego-like, where we can actually customize the data to our liking. As you can see over here, if I click open, I can get all the information right here, and you can use this viral script itself to recreate your own content as well. So this is super cool, and this is something that I think would be super effective for many organizations as well as any marketers or content creators alike. So moving back to our Make platform, we're just gonna go back to the folders and let's create a new folder for this specific work. I'm just gonna call it the viral reel analyzer. Okay, you can give it whatever name you like, and we're just gonna create this folder, and essentially we have this new folder without any scenarios. Now creating a folder is super effective here because we don't want to be flooding ourselves with so many different scenarios from different folders and different activities, and it can be a little bit difficult to organize all of them. And so coming into the analyzer, we're going to create a new scenario, and we're just going to call this viral reel analyzer 1. Okay, cool. All right, so now that we have this scenario going on, we're just going to go into the next application, which is Apify. Okay, so you're just going to go to apify.com and you're going to create an account. And Apify is pretty much free. You do have $5 free usage, which is more than enough for you to create workflows for you to try. And if you like it, you can definitely pay for more credits as well. Once you create an account, you can go to the console. All right, and once you're in the console, right, I've already created the Instagram scraper, but we're gonna create that from scratch. We're gonna come into this nice page, right? And so in Apify, one of the main things you just need to know is called actors. Actors are basically pre-built tools for you to scrape the internet for your automation projects. Right, as you can see from here, there are many different automation tools such as Google Maps scraper, website content crawler, and so much more, even TikTok scraper and all that stuff. Now, of course, we just need to search for Instagram scraper, as that's what we're doing today for our reels. Right, we're gonna click on it, and we're gonna go into a new page, right? And so from here, this is where we're gonna be able to link our feature into make.com. Okay, and so just to get started, over here we get to choose the URLs that we want to scrape, the accounts that we want to scrape. All right, and so for this specific example, let's say we want to choose the niche for business tips and coaching for entrepreneurs, right? And so we're going to choose the top 3 to 5 competitors that you would like to replicate success in your specific niche. Coming back to Apify, you can see for business coaching and entrepreneur tips, all right, I do have 3 accounts that I want to be able to scrape information from. The first one is Dan Co. And take a look at Dan Co's. He has 1.6 million followers and does have amazing animated videos that we can replicate. So we want to get the transcript that he uses for these videos, right? So take a look at this example.
People your goals. It releases dopamine, similar to actually achieving them. Don't get trapped in the mental masturbation cycle of planning to change your life, but never actually doing it. Don't tell people what you are going to do. Tell people what you are doing.
All right. Super cool, and you can see there are a lot of comments here as well that we can use to understand whether people like it, right? Some of them really do like it a lot. We can also see from the sentiment on whether is this a good content or not, right? So this is a good example. Danco is one of them, and I just want to put in 2 more examples. And similar people in the few includes, let's say, Matt Gray, right, where he has similar animated videos as well that gets pretty much good amount of views. And of course, the final person that we want to tackle and the final person we want to look into could be Ben Meir as well, the system guy that builds systems, and he does similar content as well. Right, so just to run through the flow itself, you can see over here we can put in the URL, and of course you can choose to put in the URLs of any other creators or businesses that you like, that you believe would be relevant to your industry. You just have to do that, so don't follow exactly what I've put here. It's just a placeholder for you to get an example of what I would put inside. Okay, and moving forward, what we want to do over here is then to choose what we want to scrape. And so we want to scrape post, right? We want to scrape the whole post, the whole reel itself. And the max item really is to tell us how many posts or comments you want to scrape from each Instagram URL. We can put a max number of 4 for now, but you can always change that along the way. Once we have that, you can choose the date that you want to scrape the content from. right? So you can start it from the 22nd, right? So I want to make sure that it's not more than a month so that the content are more relevant and closer to current trends and current industry topics. Now, of course, for the rest, I don't think we need to do anything here, but you could definitely check that out if you want to add in more features. And once you have this, very simply, we're just gonna go into JSON and we're gonna copy this, right? And we're gonna paste it over at Make later. But before we do that, let's get back into Make itself. Right, now coming back to Make, the first thing we want to do is to add in our first module, right? And so what we're gonna do is search Apify. And we're gonna call run an actor, right? We're gonna run the action of the Instagram scraper. And okay, once we're here, there is a connection that you have to add. So that's where you go back to Apify, and you do have to find the API. So make sure to save this Instagram scraper first. And once you're here, let's go into settings. Okay, very simply, you're gonna find integrations. That's where you're gonna find an API token over here. So just to let you guys know, what an API is, a connector for us to connect different applications and tools to build amazing and robust workflows. This allows us to connect to not just Apify, but even connect to GPT and so much more. And so this is super important. The API token is something that we want to keep it private, as this is something that utilizes our own usage and credits for our workflow. But anyway, once you get this, you just have to go back to make sure to click connect and make sure to add in your API to get into this following page. Okay, and once you're done with that, you're gonna come over here and we're gonna choose our actor, right? If you have saved it in Apify, you should be able to see the Instagram scraper over here at Make. Okay, and so we're gonna choose Instagram, Apify, Instagram scraper, and we're gonna continue with the rest of the workflow. Right, so simply put, the next thing we're going to do is to check whether are we going to run synchronously or not. And we're going to put no for now, so that we will wait till the actors run is finished before we go into the next flow. We don't want this automation workflow to just keep running non-stop, right? Okay, once we have this, we're going to input JSON, and this is where we actually get the data for our Instagram scraper. We're going to come back to our Instagram scraper and we're going to click JSON. Right, we're gonna copy this. Okay, make sure to save. And of course, we're gonna go back to Make and we're gonna key in the JSON file. Once that is done, there's nothing else much to do. We're just gonna click OK. Wonderful. And next up, we are going to click Run Once. All right, awesome. And this should be pretty fast. And you see a bubble over here, and you see a bunch of inputs and outputs, and this just means that it has run perfectly. You can see over here, JSON code that we added in is presented over here. So perfect, it has run perfectly and nicely. Awesome, and that's it. Just for the first specific scenario. Of course, this scenario itself will trigger a flow of actions, but we're gonna add that in another scenario. Okay, so now moving back, we're gonna come back to our folder again. Okay, Viral Reel Analyzer, and we're gonna create a new scenario. Now we're gonna call this Viral Reel Analyzer 2. All right, awesome. And once we have this, we're gonna create new modules for our scenario. The first thing we're gonna do is to go create an Apify one again, and this time we're gonna create one that's called Watch Actors Run. Right? This allows us to create a trigger whenever the Instagram scrapes the content from our first scenario itself. So we're going to create a webhook over here and very quickly just choose our actor, Instagram scraper, and click save, and that should do the work. Okay, awesome. All right, and then we're just going to continue here. We're going to add another module, and this is where we're going to get the information from the scraper right away. So we're going to click get dataset items, right? This allows us to scrape the Instagram reels for the data that we want. First, you're going to click here, and this is to put in the dataset ID that we want to scrape. So you can see from here, the first pop-up that we can see is the watch actor run from the Apify app itself. And we're going to click the ID over here, right? And we're going to click the default dataset ID. Right, this ensures that we are taking the information from our very first scenario And moving forward, we just want the data transformation to be clean, so you don't want too many cache or any hidden items coming up on our scraping itself. And make sure that we're scraping just the information that we want. We want the format to be JSON. Okay, yeah, keeping it there. And we're gonna have a limit of 100 items. We're just gonna keep it as the default and click OK. Wonderful. Okay, now we're just gonna move back to the Viral Reel Analyzer 1. All right, going back to our folder. Over here, we're gonna make sure that we get the data over here to trigger the next action. Right, so just think of it as a trigger of action, right? We've got to run this once, okay, and it's gonna activate the Instagram scraper. Right, once we have that, right, we're gonna go back and we're gonna go to our full flow. All right, and over here, once you click run, pass the information and the data over from the Instagram scraper. So you can see from here, you're gonna click the first bubble to see. It does have the output and input coming in, and it tells you how much money it costs, and this is about 9 cents for this specific workflow. All right, not too bad, not too shabby. So you can see from here, it does have the URL and the information being scraped. We can see over here, this is an Instagram account of Matt Gray, and it does have the type of the video, it does have the URL, it does have the height, width, all the information that we can get from Instagram. So super amazing. You can see over here, this is a video URL, so we can just copy this and we can paste to see what we get.
When you find yourself lost in life and not sure exactly what you're doing, grab a pen and paper and figure out your calling in life. Write 4 concentric circles on that piece of paper.
All right, super amazing. It does scrape the content that we want, so we did get this first part of content done. So super amazing. Look over here, you have just created a very quick Instagram scraper tool that you can use right away, that people pay a subscription for such function, right? So kudos to you for creating something simple like that within just a couple of minutes. Super amazing, isn't it? But not to worry, we'll be building something even more complex and even better, so it's not gonna just stay here. Okay, now moving on to the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna go into Cloud Convert, right? So Cloud Convert is where we want to be able to convert the video that we have created just now. We're going to be able to convert this video that we have scraped just now into audio so that we can get a transcript for our analysis. So over here you can see Cloud Convert is an online file converter, and we can use the API as well to connect into Make. All you got to do is to create your account and you go to the dashboard, right? And essentially you want to provide authorization, you want to have the API keys, or over here you want to be able to connect that into Make where you create your module later. Okay, but once you have the API key, same thing over here, we're just going to click the plus button. I'm going to find Cloud Convert, and we're just going to convert a file. Okay, so let's see, Cloud Convert a file. Okay, so we're going to click convert a file, and we're gonna have it over here. Connect your API key, and once you have that, you will find this page over here. All right, so what we're gonna do over here is we are going to import a file from the URL, and where we are going to get the URL is from the information we just scraped from Instagram. So over here, we're just gonna find the get dataset items, right? And we just want to have the video URL over here. Fantastic. And we're just going to be able to then select the format for conversion. We can just select I don't know the input format, so Cloud Convert will do it for us. And from there we're going to choose the output format, and we want it to be MP3 so that we can use the audio for transcript later. The file name, let's just call it Viral Reel 1.mp3. Okay, awesome. And we want to download the file, yes. We can carry it later on, and we can have the audio file as well. And we're gonna click OK. Beautiful. And so before we run, we just have to do one specific thing, right? So for all the Instagram videos that are created, if you can see from Danco's account, right? Let's just take a look. There are many reels that have no audio. Like for example, this reel, it's just a picture that's being played as a picture, so we don't want any of that, right? We want to have, and we want to make sure that we get the audio from the file itself. So moving back to our workflow, we're just gonna make sure to add a filter, right, before we reach Cloud Convert. And so this filter itself, we're gonna add a condition, right? And we're just gonna choose the video duration itself, right? And we wanna make sure that the video duration is greater than 10, okay? So what it does is that it filters out any short video out there and make sure that it's within at least 10 seconds so that we can get the audio file filtered out. And once we have that over here, we just got to give it a name. We call this the time filter. Okay, super simple. And here we go. Over here we have a time filter, and once that is done, we'll click save, and we're just going to run this module once. So click run once, and we can use existing data to run it just to get an idea of what we get. So just give it some time to see whether it loads. But as you can see over here, if it's loading for Cloud Convert, it means that it's converting the file. So let's give it a while, and we will come back once this is done. So make sure you get to this part, and if you don't get here, you can just take this time to go back and go through all the steps and make sure that we get everything done till this specific step. Alright, and now that it is done, we can take a look at this bubble, right? So you can see over here, it did get us the information that we want, and there are only 4, right? So why are there only 4? You can take a look over here. This filter is amazing. It does help us filter out the videos that are not part of this process, right? It does help us filter out the videos that are not more than 10 seconds, so that gives us 4 yeses and another 8 no's, so that we don't waste our time looking through audio that aren't actually what we want. So over here, click down, we can copy the URL, and once we copy the URL and paste it, we will be downloading the audio file, right? And let's just hear it out. Viral Reels 1. We can take a listen over here.
We're boring. Only we are always entertained. TV, phones, tablets. The cure for our boredom is always with us, in our pocket. Except the cure has horrible...
Wonderful. So that is exactly the audio file from the video reel that we want. All right. And going back, we're now able to have the very first part of our automation workflow. Super cool. So what we're going to do next very quickly is we are just going to clone this module. Now, this is just effective for us to make sure that it doesn't crash along the way for the workflow, right? So just to run it through again to get the data set for the following actions, right? We've converted the file, but we want to get the data set for the following actions as well. Next up, we're going to complete the workflow for sentiment analysis. And we're going to do that by scraping the comments from the Reels itself, right? To get an idea of whether do people think this video is good or not, right? And so moving back to this, how we're going to do that, first we're going to create a new module, and we're going to call it the array aggregator, right? All right, and from here we're just going to click get dataset item from number 6 over here, and we're going to find the latest comments, right? This allows us to scrape the comments from all the different information that we can get from Apify itself, okay? And once this is done, we're going to create another module. But before we do that, let's just play this. Just play this out once again and make sure we get to this part. Okay, and now it's done. We can take a look at what we have gotten in the array aggregator. Right, you can see over here we did have the latest comments, right? You can see, amazing. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in each of the bundle. And this is super amazing. And next up, we're going to use a text aggregator to get the text of the comments itself, right? And so we're going to click tools, and we're going to click text aggregator. We're going to choose the source module array aggregator. And over here, we're going to choose the text itself. We're going to open up the settings once again. To click under array, we're going to go to latest comments, and we're going to choose the text, okay? And here we have the first text. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this and we're going to replicate this 9 times. Okay. And over here in between the text, we're going to click left and we're going to put in a number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what this does is that it helps us to get actually all of the comments over here. Awesome. Okay, once we have that, we're actually done. We're actually done with the very first part of the workflow. It's definitely a lot to take in for the first try, so do give yourself a pat on the back, and one of the most difficult parts is already done. And so we're done with the first part of the workflow, which allows us to get the transcript, the text for the comments, and the next part really is where we're going to dabble deeper into ChatGPT to be able to recreate viral reels and viral analysis for our workflow itself. So without further ado, let's get into one of the most exciting parts, creating custom GPTs to work with us. Now, in order to create custom GPTs, we do have to come to platform.openai.com, and over here we have to create an account. And once we create an account, we can find the Assistant tab itself. Now, what the Assistant tab does is that it allows us to create custom GPTs that is catered for our specific use cases. For example, I do have a couple here, such as the viral reel summarizer, the viral script generator, the viral hook agent, the viral score agent, and so on. And over here, it's given a set of instructions for it to perform the way that I want. We can also do different things like choose the model that we are going to be using for our GPT, as well as provide it with other functions like file search, code interpreter. But for this simple example, we're just going to give it instructions to feed the exact rows that we want, and we're going to choose the model GPT-4 Turbo. Alright, before we get started, there's definitely many different ways to write good custom GPTs, but if I were to go in depth into all of it, this video would be almost 3 hours long. We're just going to keep it simple and have a simple template for us to write our GPTs. Okay? Here's a simple example of what I would do to create a custom GPT. So when we are writing our custom GPT, I like to categorize it into different categories for us to be able to prompt the GPT to do what I want them to do effectively. First of all, the first thing I would do is to have role prompting in my instructions itself. Right, I want to provide the agent with a specific role. For example, if they are a marketer, a writer, or an analyst, I want to provide them with their role of what they are going to do. While GPT is powerful itself, it is more effective if we can customize the GPT and tailor it to the specific role that we need, so that it is able to just look into the information that we need and not the billions of data out there that may confuse the model itself. Further on, next thing I want to do is to give it a task, right? We want to define a specific task that we want the agent to perform for us. Afterwards, next thing I would do is to highlight any specifics that I would like the agent to take note of when performing the task. Example, guardrail of what to say, what not to say, and so on. Once that is done, I would also provide the agent with context on why this specific task is important, to give it motivation and further aid the role prompting by using emotional prompts to motivate the agent to work a specific way. Last but not least, I will provide it with some examples, right? Examples of outputs that the agent can reference to provide more accurate results to what we see. A good example that we humans do in real life is that we learn from examples and we replicate them to recreate the results that we want to see. So similarly, for custom GPTs, we want to be able to provide them with some references so that they can provide a result similar to what we exactly want. And last but not least is to have a note section that has any additional and final details that we want the agent to take note of. Alright, and so over here we do have 4 GPTs that we will be using for our specific role, and I'll run through them very quickly, and we're just going to go into the Make workflow itself. Now, not to worry, you will be able to get access to all my prompts down in the description below, so do click that and you can slowly look through right after. Okay, and so just to get started, the first GPT that we want to create is the viral reel summarizer. Right, this GPT's agent role is to summarize the transcript that we have given from our workflow in a maximum of, let's say, 30 words itself. Right, and so I'm giving it a role that it is a professional Instagram reel summarizer who accurately analyze and summarize the reels provided in an informative and concise manner. And from there, I'll give it a couple of tasks such as create the summary with the following steps in mind, such as analyzing and identifying the core message of the video, highlight the most important facts, statistics, or examples that supports the main point, and so on. Following that, I'll also give it some specifics such as I do not want it to use unnecessary fluffs or filler phrases like this video is about, and this allows me to get the information as quickly as possible in the summary. Now, as you can see from the example I mentioned earlier, the context section is where I would tell it why it's doing the specific role. Right, for example, over here, you are to play a vital role in creating a summary of the reel to use as a base for creating viral scripts for our company's future content. Right, by being extremely accurate, concise, and insightful, you directly contribute to the growth and success of the company. And this is just to help it understand even better about what it should do. Alright, and so moving on from there, I just give it a couple of examples, right? 3 to 5 examples would be a good number to start with. And as you can see over here, I provide an example with the original transcript, such as a long transcript itself, and I give it a summary of what the GPT should be providing for us. Right, over here, there are a couple more examples as well. Alright, once we have this, right, very easily, I'm just going to copy this whole prompt, okay? And I'm going to go back to the Assistant API page, right? And I'm going to create a new one. If you haven't created, just click on the create button over here. And I'm going to give it a name, Viral Reel Summarizer for Instagram, okay? Instruction row, I'm just going to copy and paste the whole script over here. And once that is done, I'm going to choose GPT-4 Turbo. And once that is done, you have your very first agent. Okay, I'm going to very quickly skim through the next few agents that we're going to do. I'm not going to run through too much of the prompt, but more of what they are specifically going to do. Right, the next agent we're going to create is the viral script generator. And what it does is that it's going to use a summary that the viral reel summarizer provides it and create a viral script for us in our own specific business example. Okay, and as you can see over here, I give it the same instruction, the context, and also how the script would look like, some frameworks and some examples as well. You can definitely take a look in the resources that I provided for free below. Once we're done with the viral script generator, we will then create our viral hook agent who will help us create hooks that are effective and viral for our specific use case. After once that is done, we're going to be creating a viral score agent, which will give us the scoring for our specific use case itself, which will help to score and analyze the script and the viral hooks that are generated for our specific industry. So simply put, all these are prompts that I've created, and all you got to do is just to copy them and paste them into the assistant to be able to create your own agent as well. And to make sure that it's safe, you can press plus create to make sure that the previous agent is being saved effectively. Moving forward, I'll be creating a video for more effective prompt engineering that you can use to create more complex GPT agents as well. But for now, let's use this as our template. Alright, and once we get all our agents done, the hardest part is over. We're just going to come back to Make, and we're just going to finish up our workflow real quick. Alright, and so coming back to the end of it, we're going to click plus, and we're going to find Chat GPT OpenAI, right? And we're going to find create a transcript whisper, right? We're going to use the whisper model to get the transcript from the audio file itself, right? So we're going to click over here, and the file that you should be providing is Cloud Convert. We're going to take the file directly from the Cloud Convert module. We're going to change it to an audio file, right? So we're going to give it a prompt and ask GPT to transcribe the audio file. Easy. And we're going to change the response formats to text. Okay, once this is done, very quickly, we're just going to change the name because we're going to have a lot of OpenAI agents moving forward. So we want to make sure that we know what's happening. So we're going to call this audio to transcript, right? Real simple. Now we know this is audio to transcript. We're going to move on to the next step. We're going to add another module. And this is where we're going to add our very first agent over here. So we're going to search message and assistant. Okay, great. And of course, before I forget, for all of this to work, you do have to connect your OpenAI API. So similarly, when you click the connection and you click add, you just want to go back to OpenAI. You're going to find your API keys over here. Similarly, copy them and key it into Make, and that's all you need to do. Coming back, once you've saved the different assistants that you have gotten, you should be able to see the same thing appear on Make itself. So when you click over here, you'll be able to see all the different agents that you have created with the model showcased as well. The first one we're going to create is the viral reel summarizer, right? So we're going to choose this one. Okay. We're going to choose this one. Okay. And that's all we got to do. And from here, similarly, we're just going to choose the role as user, and we're going to give it a prompt, right? And we're just going to tell the GPT where our transcript is at, so that it can directly create a summary from the transcript itself. So I'm just going to say the transcript is, and I'm going to choose text from the audio to transcript GPT. Once this is done, we're just going to click OK. Very simple. We're going to call this our viral reel summarizer. All right, viral reel summarizer. Okay, awesome. Okay, moving forward, we're going to have another agent. Remember, like what we said, we're going to message an assistant again. And this time, after getting the summary of the initial reel, what we want to do is to start creating content for ourselves, right? So we're going to have the viral script generator to generate a new script using the summary itself. Okay, so what is the message that we want to give it, right? So of course, we got to tell it where the information are from. So first thing we want to give it is the comment feedbacks, okay? And this is where we can get it from the text aggregator. Now, moving forward, after we get the comment feedbacks, we want to also tell it where the summary is at. So the summary is at results over here, 10. Okay, so you just gotta click and drop it in. Very easy. Now we just gotta add in a little bit more for the prompt. So we're just gonna tell it you are to use the insights and knowledge to create a totally new script for me. Okay, do not reference the original speaker. Let's just keep it like that, and okay. Same thing here, we're just gonna change the name and we're gonna call it the viral script generator. All right, awesome. Okay, we're gonna quickly skim through the next part. Once again, another agent. So this is where the workflow is super amazing, because we're not just using one GPT, we're connecting multiple GPTs to do the action for us. Super amazing, isn't it? Coming back here, we're gonna next have our viral hook writer. We're gonna have our viral hook writer, right? So the viral hook agent will be connected, and we're just gonna give it some information as well. Similarly, we're gonna tell it the comments feedback to the original video is, and we're just going to find it in text aggregator and put it in here. Next thing we're going to give it is the summary of the original video is 12 over here, results, right? 10. Okay, and of course the new script to create viral hooks is right here from our viral script generator. Once this is done, we're just gonna click OK, and here we go. Very fast, very effective. Okay, and we're gonna make sure to change the name as well. We're gonna call this the viral hook agent. Okay, awesome. And we're gonna have one more, actually two more, right? Once again, message an assistant, connecting it. All right, and we're gonna find the viral score agent, right? This is where we're gonna score it. We're gonna score all our information, and we're gonna give it a message. The script to analyze is here, right here, from the viral script generator, and the hooks for the scripts are right here, right? Awesome. And we're gonna change the name to T-Score. Okay, awesome. Now, just one last guy we want to have, right? We want to have the sentiment analysis for the comments as well. So we're just gonna add in one more. And this time around, we're just going to be creating a completion, okay, for a prompt. And we're just gonna have the model. We can choose GPT-4o. All right. And we're gonna have add a message. We're gonna choose user so that we can prompt it. Right, we're gonna tell it the information that we have gotten earlier. So first, we're gonna tell it that the comments provided are text, right? So this is where they can use the comments that we have gotten to create the sentiment analysis. And we're going to give it a function, right? So your goal is to analyze the provided comments and generate a sentimental analysis with a maximum of 30 words. Okay, continuing from here, identify the overall sentiment, positive, negative, or neutral, okay, as well as the main emotions expressed. Highlight any significant patterns, themes, or notable comments that contributes massively to their general sentiment. Okay, and scrolling down, provide a percentage, right? How can we forget that? Percentage breakdown of the sentiment categories. Okay, and we are done. Oops. Of course, before we forgot, the maximum token, we're just gonna put it as 0. 0 means that it will use the limit of the model, which is GPT-4o. So let's just keep it as the default for now, right? And that's it. Wonderful, and our workflow looks almost complete. So over here right now, if we actually click play, we will be able to get everything we want for the viral reel analyzer. But of course, before we finish off, we do have to get the information into a beautiful front end, and that is where we are going to have the Airtable connected to this. Okay, so first things first, let's create an Airtable account and create a table for our workflow itself. So all you gotta go and do is to go into Airtable, create an account itself, okay? And over here you can see I've already created a viral reel analyzer, but you can create a new one from scratch to follow as well. So using this example over here, we're just going to delete this record so we get it all cleaned up. Right, what we're going to do is to create the tables for the information that we want, okay? So this is just like Excel, if you've used Excel before, but if not, not to worry. We're just going to create these different tables. So if you start off, you will not have so many tabs like mine, but not to worry. You're just going to change the first column to accounts, okay? So you just have to double click it, change the name, and this is the primary field itself. Okay, once you change the accounts, click save, and that's what you get. Beautiful. And next up, this is the text field, long text field. So we're just going to click date as the first one and click save. Now, if you do not have that many columns like mine, we don't want to be using the columns at the end, which is assignee and status, which is not the same as text. So you're just going to right click this and duplicate the field. Once you duplicate the field, do the same thing, double click it and change the name itself. I'm going to delete this. Here are different columns that we need to have. Firstly, create a column called date, and then the next one called URL to get the URL link of the viral reels that we can take reference to. Following that, create a new tab called transcript. This is where we get a transcript of the reel. Okay, after getting the transcript of the reel, you want to have a tab for reel summary, right? This is where we can get to see the summary of the reel that's given to us by ChatGPT. Okay, once we have the summary of the reel, we want other information like views, likes, and comments. Okay, once we have these 3 different columns, we want to have the next one, which are the ones that we want to use for our content strategy itself. The first one is viral script. Okay, and then viral hooks, and last but not least, the virality score, and of course the sentimental analysis. Once we have all of these columns, we can then go back to Make. Before we do that, make sure to also connect the API, right? And so in Airtable, the API connector itself no longer works the same way. So you do have to use the third-party integrations, right? Over here, you just have to create one. You can look at the Airtable documents to just learn. It's very easy. I'll put a link in the description below. And from here, you want to connect it to Make. Once you connect to Make itself, you want to be able to share the base of it. So make sure to change, right, the name of what you want for a table and call it Viral Reels Analyzer, right? And going back to the integrations, you want to be able to connect it to Make. And make sure you give access to the base, which is the table itself, right? So over here, you can see I gave it access to the Viral Reel Analyzer, and click Save Changes, and we can go back to Make right now. All right, and for our very final step. Oh, but before we do that, let's make sure to change the name of our sentiment analysis agent. Sentiment analysis agent. Wonderful. Okay, we're gonna add the final module, which is Airtable. Okay, Airtable over here, and we're just gonna click Insert a record. Okay, and here's where you do the connection for the API. And once that is done, we're gonna click our base, and our base will be Viral Reels Analyzer. Okay, and so at this part, we're going to choose table 1, okay, for the titles that we have. And we're going to have to connect every single information with the table itself. So the first one is accounts, right? So we just have to click this, okay. We're just going to go back to the very start. We want to be able to find the owner's full name. Okay, we can do a search. Owner's full name. Yes, the owner's full name is what we want to have, like Matt Gray. That's what we want to have. And then we're going to go find date. So for date itself, we're going to find timestamp. Okay. Also from the Apify app, we're going to find timestamp, and we're just going to click over here, the date. Oops. We want to have the timestamp over here, right? The one not from the latest comments, but really from the original file itself. Okay. Moving forward, we're going to have the URL. So what is the URL, right? I believe it's called video URL. Okay, very easy. Click it in. Here we go. And you can see all of them are from number 2, which is basically the second module itself. Make sure it's from the Apify dataset, so it's the accurate one. Okay, and we're going to move on to a fun thing that we have, which is transcript. We want to get the results, and this should be from the audio to transcript. Audio to transcript over here. Okay, we gotta get it from the audio to transcript, so we get a transcript itself, and then we want to get the summary. We can find results. The summary itself is from here. Okay, great. And views. Views, we just got to search video view count. Okay, and we want the likes. Once again, back to the likes. Click it in. Okay, we want that the comments would be from the transcript itself, right? The text aggregator. The comments would be from the aggregator itself. So we find the text. And we'll find a purple one from the text aggregator. And just the final few that we really want to have for these automation. The first would be the viral script, right? So we look at the viral script agent and we find the results. Okay, viral script agent. And we have it here. We want the viral hook from here, 12, virality score over here, and of course our sentimental analysis. Awesome. And here we get all the data connected to Airtable. We're going to click OK and make sure to click save before we continue. All right, wonderful. And here's the whole flow. Okay, I just want to congratulate you for creating an amazing automation workflow and sticking till the end. Over here, you really have something that's ready to go. So all we got to do is to click run and we will see the magic happens. So if you're ready, we're just going to click run once and use existing data to see what we get at the end of it. So let's see the magic happens right away. Okay, and as you can see over here, it has already passed one information throughout, right? And you'll see at the end of the Airtable, it does have one of them actually provided there. So let's take a look at Airtable while it sends new information over. Going back to our Airtable over here, okay? You can see, well, all the information are generated in real time. All right, and we can take a look by clicking expand. You can see the transcript is given, the reel is also given in less than 30 words. Amazing. The views, the likes, the comments, right? Some of the main and latest comments. The viral script is given, so pretty cool, right? This one's about Ikigai. So ever wonder why some people have a spark in their eyes and endless energy to keep going? And all in all, it does have the context, why it matters, mini hooks. And these are things that I actually put it inside my prompt. So you can take a look at the prompt that I've given, what I actually ask it to do from the prompts itself, and it does provide in the format that I want. So truly amazing. It does have some pretty good viral hooks as well, right? So very good for titles and our hooks itself. And it does tells us the virality score of it, and I did give it a score for every single category, like relevance and timeliness, uniqueness and originality. Interesting, it does give different scores, and it gives an overall virality score for the whole script itself. Where you can see the sentimental analysis is given as well, with a 60% positive, 20% neutral, and 20% negative. So this is super amazing. And this is just for one of the content. We can do it for multiple. You can see in real time it has passed down the next one as well. You can expand this. You can see the information given, and we even have the link to the URL of the video as well.
Nature is never boring. Only we are always entertained.
Super
TV,
cool.
Phones, tablets, the cure for our
Yeah, so that is it. Wonderful. Once again, thank you so much for staying through. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this workflow. Do let me know what other workflows you'd like to see in the comments below, or let me know if you have any questions about this workflow, and I'll try my best to reply to every single one of you. Moving forward, I will be creating more videos like this. Do give it a like and subscribe if you want to learn more effective ways that you can use AI to improve your workflow and productivity. Till then, I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.